Are going to open the meeting tonight with a continued public hearing for Sig Sauer. And you could introduce yourself again.
My name is Nick Lorenz with Engineers. We used the I apologize. I should.
Nolan.
Nick Lorenz, Jones Beach Engineers. I met most of you at the site walk last week, representing the applicant, Sig Sauer. We're proposing to do a very minimal site plan on this. What we're doing is combining Patriot Ranges 4, 5, and 6 into one longer range and adding 2 additional ranges next to existing Patriot Range 10. There's not a lot of dirt work needed for this. All they'll be doing is building a berm behind the shooting targets. And with that, if you have any further questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
It was a good site walk, so that was great.
Did you like it? Yeah, cool, pretty cool site.
How it works.
Very unique.
Yeah, to be able to see it in person, and that's great to
Yeah.
really visualize it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you. The sidewalk was extremely helpful. I just wanted to check, Glenn, if your comments have been addressed.
They took care of everything.
Phenomenal.
They removed the 2 that were originally there. Looks good.
Terrific.
Thank you for getting that done.
Yeah, of course.
Any other questions? Discussion?
There's no required conditions, correct? There's no, well, yeah, AOT permit, right? Do they need that or?
I thought with their changing and not doing
Okay,
the 11
expansion
and 12,
area.
they don't
Okay.
need an AOT.
Okay.
Isn't that correct?
We actually just checked with AOT and we are going for a permit.
Oh, you are?
We are, that's correct, yeah.
Then no, make that that should be a condition.
But that's the only one that you
Yes.
understand?
Yeah.
Well, I'd make a motion then that we approve this site plan application, conditional upon receiving the state AOT, alteration of terrain permit, when that comes, and condition good for 120 days.
Second.
You are approving an affidavit, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
that's how
This
it will be.
expedited
That's what
site
will
plan?
be recorded.
Right, this is, we discussed last meeting.
And that affidavit is in your packet. So
Great.
your motion was to approve the expedited site plan and the affidavit written by Mr. Greenwood, and the conditions are an AOT permit.
I didn't speak loud enough, and you missed.
I got you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So does the affidavit have to, do we have to hold on to this until they get the permit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
to I need to add into that affidavit that we made one condition of the approval.
Okay. And you're good with the other things? They're more
Yep.
kind of administrative? Okay. We had a second?
I seconded.
Any more discussion? Any public comments? Ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay,
Great work.
Thank you.
thank you.
So what we'll do, Nick, is Glenn will recraft the affidavit.
Yep.
I'm going to hold on to that affidavit until you provide me with an approved AOT permit.
Yep.
Okay?
Good.
And then we'll record that at the Registry of Deeds, and then I'll get that out to you.
Perfect. I think we submitted it either today or yesterday, so you guys should be getting a copy of it soon
Okay.
too.
Yep, just don't forget, we need to have that before we can record
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay?
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Standard permit application for solid waste transfer station in Epping. Can you give us a little more?
I printed the entire permit and put it in that binder. I'm only printing one copy. It's like 350 pages or something ridiculous. So if you'd like to bring that home and share it, you may. I have provided it to you via email, so you can read it on your computer if you wish. But I do have one printed copy, and I wanted to make that available for the computer
I guess I would just.
challenged.
Just one small comment that I was concerned that a number of area towns had expressed their thought to DES that DES should not approve this permit for some, they didn't actually say for what period of time. It appears they were looking for more information, but none of the letters from the various towns indicated what questions the towns had in regard to that permit approval. And in reading through this long list of the 300 pages, here back in the spring and summer of 2004, not 2005, not last summer, but in 2004, this permit was submitted to DES by Resource. And
2002, okay,
it was in the spring and summer of 2024.
24, thank you.
24. And Brentwood received 2 registered letters. One went to the town clerk and the other went to the chairman of the board of selectmen, indicating that this plan or this application was complete and submitted to the state. So I think that people were caught kind of flat-footed, not knowing perhaps that this information did come out 2 years ago. And there's nothing certainly wrong with asking questions of the state, of DES, as to where in the process this application is. In speaking with Glenn yesterday, you can speak, Glenn, and tell the board what you plan to do.
So this is the permit to the, application to the state for permit, not, they're still not at the planning.
Right, they're apparently not at the planning board stage in Epping. Because Bruce brought this issue up, I called over to NHDS, but I did it late in the afternoon and there was no one available to talk with me. So I'll call them again. The question was, where does it stand? Both at the state level as far as their approval process, and when do they anticipate that Epping would be providing input to them?
And are they having public meetings? That would be the other question.
They-
It's part of their process.
Yeah,
Like when,
They have to, I'm sure they have to do a site plan review because it's still an enterprise in the
yeah,
town.
no, I meant the state. When is the state going to have public meetings?
Yeah,
Are we asking them?
I'll ask them that, yes.
Okay.
There's certainly plenty of legitimate questions towns and abutters may have. I would just think the Brentwood would be better served not to come out against something that we're not really sure what we're against. We ought to kind of go through the hearing process and learn as much as we can. And where it was filed 2 years ago, it's kind of surprising that DES hasn't done some remedial review of this or sent.
I'm sure they're gonna tell me that they've done quite a bit with it. I just don't know what they've done.
Because since then, we've received things from DES, notifications.
Yep, no,
On it.
everything that's come into my office, I've either scanned and provided to you.
Right, and we've received at least 2 notifications in the last year, but
Yep.
they never indicate that anything is really happening.
Yeah, 12/10/25, 1/27/26, and then that letter from the Lamprey River Advisory Committee on 3/3/26.
There was some comment from other towns about how it was going to wear the roads out in our locale here. And the roads that they'd be traveling on are state roads. And they're talking about 700 ton a day. So working in the hardwood business for 40 years and shipping lumber, something's very heavy, the trash trucks can't weigh any more than any commercial truck on the road. So they have a gross vehicle weight of 80,000 pounds. So if you divide the 700 tons by 20 tons or 40,000 pounds, which would be the tear weight on a truck, you're talking 35 loads of trash going in there, or coming in or out per day. And you look at the number of trucks coming out of the Walmart distribution center in Raymond, plus the other, I don't know, couple thousand trucks on 101 every day. I don't see I think that was kind of a hyperbolic concern that some towns were making, that it was going to, quote, wear out our roads.
Inside that application, there's a pretty comprehensive traffic study.
Yes, there is.
And it says that 80% of the tractor trailers will be traveling down 101. And the 10-wheeler traffic is sort of divided, I think 60% down 27 and 10% or 5% down North Road. But there's a really good traffic study in there if you want to look at that.
There's a lot of good questions. I mean, one of the assertions that was made, there'd be a lot of trash coming in from out of state. But essentially, if you read the permit application, it talks about waste generated in the state of New Hampshire. And actually, that material, once it's processed, is going out of state to Massachusetts to be shipped by rail to other disposal locations around the country. We all know that we need to come up with a solution to our waste processing, because they're saying in 10 years, the turnkey operation in Rochester is going to be full. So it's something that we need, and something we ought to ask a lot of questions about, but maybe something that we don't need to, go out and make comment on based on information that we simply don't have.
I think for this board, it's our role in the process is when there's an application into Epping, and there's that process of whether or not it's a project of regional impact, or, we can look at that and talk about whether or not we want to comment. But the state process, I would say individual citizens, select board as representative of the
anybody.
town, but I don't feel like the planning board necessarily, unless you guys feel differently, needs to comment until it becomes a planning board.
Yeah, I'm sure Mark will
Project.
let us know when the town of Epping has a site plan application. Obviously, he will, and that's
I
something.
called them and they said they would provide that to me when it came in.
That would be the normal process. In fact, we had a letter from Jan Rowden from RPC stating just that we have yet to receive a application. And she said in her letter that although she can't be sure until it's accepted by the town, the application that is, that it will probably be declared a project of regional impact, which then again, and it should be.
But remember, that's a local decision. Planning board makes that decision, and if they choose not to, isn't a lot of, somebody then has to sue, which doesn't really happen very often.
Yeah.
Based on past projects, I think we've seen for the vast majority of those have been declared regional impact.
We can still comment even if
Oh,
they
sure.
don't, right? We could send them a letter.
Do we have any town property that abuts that?
It's actually, the frontage of that lot is on Brentwood. Is in, how do I phrase, it?
So we're in a-
is in the town of Brentwood.
But that's a tax map number that it's theirs, right?
Yeah,
So I was hoping there was a town-owned parcel that was in a butter, because then we.
oh,
then
you know
that-
what? I
then
think
the
that,
select board would get a direct,
let me look real quick. Cause there is,
whether they declared it regional impact or not,
Yeah.
we'd be aware that we can, respond.
we'd be sure to be notified.
Yeah.
But they did declare us as abutters, as evidenced by the registered mailing that the town.
Well, we will be getting an official butters notice. We do own approximately 0.47 acres.
That's perfect.
Mhm.
That's perfect. Because that just means.
Nailed
if
it.
if in fact they don't declare it one, we're already in a butter.
Oh, there's another parcel.
Because all the declaration does is give you a butter status.
Yeah.
We already have a butter status.
Yeah.
0.220 acres. Yeah, we will get.
If,
an
if they,
an abutters
if
notice.
they got nasty and didn't declare it,
We s-
we don't lose anything
We still
because we're
stand.
butters.
But-
So,
But they did declare it. They did declare us in abutters by sending us,
that's my only
Well, the
question.
state did.
Yeah, that's the state that did that.
no, this is, Resource did this, in their application to the state.
They did it because the state required them.
Required them to do it,
Hmm.
yeah.
So we are officially by,
We will get a registered letter.
I would assume because we are actual abutters, that's why.
Mr. Springer.
For a process like that, typically, there's a radius, like within so many feet, they have to notify people,
about
even
200
if,
feet by state law.
but for a waste facility, I don't know in New Hampshire,
Right,
but it might be bigger.
I think it is bigger.
And so you
yeah.
wouldn't necessarily have to be in a butter.
Selt is in a butter, and Selt received a butters notice.
So, do you recall seeing those notices? Who did you say they
Well,
went
they
to?
were in the spring and summer of 2024, so that was before Mark's time.
Okay.
It was before Mark.
Every piece, scrap of mail that comes to my office
But it didn't come to, yeah.
is immediately scanned
Yeah.
and put into some sort of file.
These
And if
letters-
it's
But they-
relevant to
but
this
those-
board,
but those didn't come to the.
I immediately send it out to you.
These letters came, one to the,
Right.
one to the Board of Selectmen, the other one to the
And one
town
to the town
clerk. So the
clerk.
town was officially notified.
So maybe, can you tell the town clerk if there are ever any notices that have to do with a budding property, they'll give you a copy.
Yeah, I mean, normally they do.
Yeah.
But I've never not gotten them. Julie even sends me septic permits, so.
All right, anything else on that topic? Okay. Next topic, motions to elect chair, vice chair, and secretary. First, I just want to say welcome, Nate. Good to have you here. Congratulations.
We usually get a little speech from the first.
Oh, wow, that's so mean.
You could,
Thought you were nice, Bruce.
you could comment, you could comment on the candy, the refreshments.
Yes, please, just move it down closer to you. That would be better.
You at your own.
No, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you. Looking forward to working and learning from each and every one of you, so appreciate it.
All right, well, the floor is open for motions.
Hey, go ahead.
I'll make a motion for Kristen Aldred to be chair.
I'll second that.
I don't know if I'm supposed to be involved in
You
this.
could give a little speech if you wanted to. Appropriate time.
I appreciate it. I was hoping to, at least do this for another year, because I know we're gonna have things coming in based on our new ordinances, so I'm happy to do that. If everyone is.
Well, even if you weren't, we're
agreement.
still voting.
Yeah.
All right, any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain. All right,
Next one, Doug.
I'll move Stephanie Kizza for vice chair.
Second that.
comments?
Happy to do it, but if anyone else would be interested, also happy to let other people have the chance.
No more discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstention?
I'll abstain.
All right.
And then I'll make a motion that we appoint Doug Marino as board secretary.
I'll second. So the idea here is we realized when both Steph and I were not here physically that we don't have anybody else to open the meeting.
A
And
third string quarterback.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a Jets joke.
That's okay. I've heard.
Okay. So, yeah, so if I hadn't been able to call in, our rules say that the chair opens the hearing. So we just want to have all of our bases covered, but also appreciate everything that you're doing, Doug. Any discussion?
Was there a second to that motion?
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstentions?
I'll abstain.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
And then I have one more nomination to make, and I would ask the board to appoint Doug Finnan as an alternate to the board, which he has agreed to.
Oh.
And would ask the board to authorize Mark to drop the paperwork so that Doug can come in and be sworn in as an alternate.
I'll second the motion, and I'll also say for the record that even if he didn't agree, I'd be seconding the motion anyway.
I just sent him a note.
Yeah.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome back, Doug. All right.
That's funny.
Now I don't have to take them off of the mailing list, I
Yes.
guess. Believe it or
I
not.
told him, Mark, that was the main reason.
100%, that I didn't want to take them off the email list.
Okay, place to grow zoning verification. This is
This is the
signature
same,
of individual authorized to sign zoning documents. So that is me.
this is the same document that you saw last year.
Same number of clients,
Mhm.
same location.
Same location.
They have to submit this every year.
Yes, they do.
Just part of their state licensing.
It is.
Right.
There'll be probably another one coming. Deborah Clark.
So there's no motion necessary, correct? The chair can just sign it.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead and make the motion.
What do you think?
It'll be-
No, you can just sign it. All of this is a zone. It's just a verification.
I mean, I'm happy to make a motion, but I don't know if it's necessary.
It's not necessary.
There's no decision making. Okay. Meeting minutes, March 5th.
I'll move approval of the March 5th meeting minutes.
Second.
Any changes or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions?
I'll abstain.
And I'll make a motion that we approve the March 13th sidewalk meeting minutes for 6 Hour.
I'll
Second.
second. Oh. Good, okay. Any discussion or changes? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Abstain.
We did sign the contract with SFC. I was gonna say SEC, but that's something different. So they are on board? Have we onboarded them?
They are. They've actually started looking at plans for us. They came to a meeting yesterday. The engineer will be working with Kame and met with Joe Falzone about picking up the inspection requirements for the road work over at River
Run.
Run. So yes, she's energetic as all get out.
Great.
Terrific.
Very communicative, very happy. Had a long conversation today about what needs to be inspected over there at River Run. I ended up calling and talking to some people over there at River Run and why they wanted the inspection, and really everything needs to be inspected that has anything to do with anything that we're gonna end up taking over.
Mhm.
So even if the sewage system is parallel and in the right-of-way of the town of Brentwood, we want our town engineer there to inspect it and to witness the pressure test for it.
Have you asked them for a quote on what we should charge for driveway permit inspections going forward?
Right now, we've already changed the driveway inspection fee to $300.
Okay,
But I will definitely double down on that,
check and make sure that's okay with them.
right, and see where they're gonna be at.
And maybe they need to do a couple and
Yeah,
make
true.
sure that works.
So, a couple.
Mhm.
Okay. Other business? You
Right.
had your.
Well, I realize I should have raised this earlier when we were talking about the Epping situation, but I had to go back into my email and I just wanted to make sure of this, but at conservation last meeting, the chair, Rob Wolfchuck, had raised this issue as well, and there was a semi-consensus. I know, Bruce had raised some of the.
I'm not on the Conservation Committee.
No, but he was raising it, in the public, as some of the issues and concerns about putting the cart before the horse or something
Yeah, I think
like that.
I think my grandfather, you've heard this expression before, my grandfather would say, he would suggest that we not race our motors till we made sure our rear end was in gear.
There you go, something
Okay,
like
so
that.
something, that's,
Yeah, cart before the horse or whatever.
that's a bit nicer.
Engines racing, rear ends in gear.
Yeah. so-
Haven't
But
heard that one.
as it turned out, there was at least some consensus on the board for Rob to write a letter, so he did. I can paraphrase it or I can just circulate it if,
Yeah, do you want to send it around?
yeah.
Is it to
well,
the state?
It's to the DES, and basically what it's saying is to defer, doing anything on permitting until there's more time for review, some sort of regional impact study. So, it was pretty benign, but I wanted to at least let you know that had taken place, and I can forward that to you, Chris.
Okay, yeah. I think you can just use the planning board email and then everybody will get it.
Okay.
Was there any specific questions asked, Paul, and any specific concerns mentioned by the Concom in terms of what they were
No.
concerned about?
No,
Okay. All right.
just the general, in general, yeah, or the generality of it, yeah.
We have questions, we're not sure what they are. But those things will come out, I think, as far as once the approval or the application is submitted, and just fair. Good deal.
All right.
I do have some
Uh-huh.
stuff. Doug Finnan told me as the representative to the RPC, I was to prepare a 30-minute presentation. So just a quick update. At the last meeting we had on Wednesday, they talked in detail about a hazardous waste study that they did. And just to give you the high-level view on that, only 4.1% of the people in the Rockingham County area participated. Brentwood had 309 participants. And as a result, what they're looking at right now is they're looking at how do we change the hazardous waste, how we do it. You know, we either do the single-day events, which is what we're doing now, or we go to curbside pickup, and they went over the pros and cons of that, and or having a permanent facility, which raises obviously its own batch of concerns. Where would it be? Who would staff it? How would it be staffed? Right now, they spent $336,000 on the single-day events, and what they said was they felt that a permanent facility would be the lowest cost option to do this. I myself have some questions about that, how you could run a permanent facility at $336,000 a year. But they did say that there are some pros to that is that they'd be filling up bins instead of taking them out in partial bins like they do now with the single-day events. Maybe by having a permanent facility, it would actually be more hazardous waste being dropped off because it's more accessible for people. So it's at the study stage right now. They're looking into how they could get funding for that. And as we know, the state is not really free with the money right now, so that could be something where, if they did it as a county, then that would be passed on, obviously, in our taxes. But again, I think there's a ways to go on this. Right now, they're going to stick with the single-day events. Anything I miss on that?
No, not on the household hazardous waste. The only other RPC thing that I would note is
I wasn't done, but okay.
Oh, okay. No. Oh, no. Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
So wait, so would this be a region-wide, like the borders of the RPC? Anybody could use that facility?
People within the county, yes, within the RPC.
Okay.
And again, it gets down to what would the locations be? Is it just one location? Would it be different locations so the drivability would be easier for people?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I found interesting, and then I'll move on to the next topic, is that at 309 participants, our cost is only $11,700. Let's take it to Portsmouth in the spring, 286 participants at $50,000. So I'm going to be sending in a note to the person who did the survey. Why was our cost so low, or do I not ask why our cost was so low? But our cost was the least out of anybody out there, really.
It might be what the Brentwood residents brought.
The type of
They didn't
waste.
bring
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
That's generally what that results in.
Yeah.
And
Makes sense.
And quite frankly, it's just it's so little accomplished
Don't
when you're doing
say put it in the trash.
you're doing 3 or 5 days a year. The benefit of an open facility is that people, first off, aren't in the mindset that they're saving everything for a year, because a lot of people, and a lot of people with kids, don't like the thought of saving a lot of getting their house someplace for a year to bring to someplace on a Saturday morning, the weekend something goes wrong for the family. And then all of a sudden you don't even get it there, even though it's been sitting around your garage or your basement for a year.
Yep.
We had, something has to be done. It just isn't a high enough priority for people yet.
I can attest that I do get several phone calls about residents wanting to know what to do with an item. And unfortunately, I have to tell them, well, that's 1 day a year to get rid of that TV or whatever they want, microwave, whatever they're trying to get rid of. And sometimes I have to suggest, well, maybe some Boy Scout troops in the area are doing one of those fund drive thing, fundraiser things to drop off whatever item. So there's definitely a need for it.
Yeah, depending on what it is, a couple options. The transfer station in Raymond, you have to pay, but I've done that a bunch. I think metal is free because there's value, but other things you pay, and it's kind of worth it if you're clearing stuff out. Yeah. The other thing is small appliances, and you'd have to look at their website to see what they take exactly. But Staples takes a lot of stuff.
They do.
They've been doing it voluntarily for like 15
Copiers,
years.
that sort of thing.
So I've dropped off coffee makers, all kinds of batteries. Yep.
Really?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. They have a list of what they would consider a small appliance
They
on their
do,
website?
yeah, they have a list on their website and what they won't accept.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
so
you.
it's definitely on the radar screen, you know, and they did make the comment out there aren't any permanent facilities in New Hampshire right now.
That's the nice thing about the Raymond DPW location there. You can go there, you know, anytime. And you're right, if you have a TV, you don't want to let that sit around the house forever. So it's a quick, easy run to Raymond and dispose of it,
Drop a
pay
lot of stuff
$5.
off there.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
They do not.
I don't,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
The other thing they talked about was a stream crossing navigator project. And what that was is there is actually a database now based on surveys done on streams that cross under roads, you know, and showing what the, you know, whether it's fish crossing underneath there, you know, the large flow, is it in danger during flood season? So actually a town can go on there and click on their particular stream and they will have all the details for that. And it's to help get the right culvert sizes and things like that. So it was, I think it was done in conjunction with UNH. And so it's quite an extensive database from what they put on the website up on the screen for us. So it's something that's out there. I will let my esteemed partner talk about the legislative updates.
Yes, so we do have a piece of good news that will probably not come to fruition, but it does, but it is still a positive sign of some bipartisan movement. So the state Senate passed legislation that would hike tolls on out-of-state drivers. And I think it's worth noting that the Republicans do have a majority in the state Senate, and so I want to commend the bipartisan majority of the state Senate for taking that step. I personally am very disappointed that the governor is continuing to put politics ahead of public safety. So she's made it clear that she's going to veto it if it even reaches her desk. I think it's very ironic that a governor who ran on a platform of not massing up New Hampshire is prioritizing Massachusetts motorists over fixing our roads and infrastructure. So I'll leave it at that. Happy with the state Senate, very disappointed in the governor.
Sounds like a win-win. We make money when they come up and buy their booze and cigarettes, and we can also charge them for the.
Well, and
Well,
weren't they
here's one
trying
of-
to take local money to repair, like, on-ramps or something? Like, they were trying to move some money around that is.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I heard a little bit about that, but I don't want to give incorrect.
They need the money. So.
The only way to identify an out-of-state driver is an out-of-state Easy Pass, okay?
That is true, yes.
Now, let me finish, right? So if you look like myself, right? I'm looking at getting a Maine Easy Pass because I have family that lives very far up into Maine. And if I want to go visit them, the majority of the tolls that I'm ever going to drive through are the state of Maine. I would never get a New Hampshire Easy Pass. I would either get a Massachusetts one or a Maine one because there are no tolls in the state of New Hampshire that really affect me whatsoever. I pay 75 cents to get on, 93. Not a big deal. Go up to Maine, that's a good $10 out of your pocket to drive up to Maine. So I'm going to get a Maine Easy Pass. So what you have to keep in mind when you say they don't want to target out-of-state drivers, most of the time, I bet if you look, most New Hampshire people own an out-of-state Easy Pass.
That's an interesting point. I hadn't thought about.
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know you could do that either.
Yeah, I
They
still
don't
have
care
an
what state
account
you're from.
with
They
different-
don't ask you your home address?
Well, I got it when I lived there, and I've just.
Well, you online, if you go on, you can get a Maine Easy Pass and get the break and tolls in Maine. A lot of
They're gonna
people,
Stop that.
a lot of people do it, and I don't
They're-
blame
they're
them
gonna
because
stop that.
there are no
I've been here
tolls
for
in New
9
Hampshire.
years.
Well, but you've been doing it illegally. You're not telling anyone you.
No, I have an account. You have an account.
Yeah, you have an account. They don't care where
You
you're
pay.
from.
The toll itself is tied to
An RV would cost
the state
more.
where you drive, but it's administered by whatever state.
Yeah.
So the money still goes to where you're driving.
Yeah, I had family that lived in New York. I was actually thinking about getting a New York Easy Pass because you got to go across to George Washington. You know what I mean? Or
Right. Yeah.
I thought Easy Pass was Easy Pass. So like if I'm driving in New York.
No, it's state dependent, meaning you only get the break on the toll if it's in New Hampshire, if you have a New Hampshire Easy Pass.
Right,
You're
one-
paying full boat out of state.
All right, we can probably take this discussion till after we,
It's easy, but you're still paying New York rates.
is there any other?
Not a discounted Easy
No,
Pass rate.
Sorry, is there any other business? We can keep this discussion going later, but, any other planning board business?
I did think on a couple of the legislative updates they had is that they're looking at taking the fines for handheld distraction. Fines going from 100 to 250, with a kicker if you cause an accident, and after the third offense, they'll stop pulling your license. So I thought that was a nice one. And the law in this. No, after
Infraction.
the third infraction, they'll pull your license.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, why are they giving you three choices?
I know.
Just, it's been a law for 5 years now.
I
Just-
saw somebody on Middle
just
Road,
take-
they pulled out of,
Just take your license.
Deer Hill, so they had just turned, and they're on Middle Road, and, yeah, not looking at the road at all. Scary.
One time. What is that? You don't get 3 chances with DUIs. You get a DUI, you get a DUI.
Write a letter, Glenn.
Gosh, it's just foolish.
Okay, I've got Glenn hyped up, so I've done my job.
Good job. All right, anything else? Okay, schedule adjustments.
We are going to adjust the May meetings, so it won't be the first week in May, it'll be the second week in May and the fourth week in May.
Does that work for folks?
I'm good with that.
Any-
Mr. Greenwood,
It doesn't work for me.
you'll be away?
The fourth one, I'll be away.
Oh,
This is just for 1 month, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
And if there's not much on the docket, we can also cancel one. It's right after Memorial Day, so there might be a lot of people out.
We have some members that may be going away and want to be able to provide the best services that I can for the town of Brentwood and its members.
But if there's, we should keep that in mind if something's coming up in the latter part of May that we might want to push it if you're not going to be here, if it's
And
complicated.
actually, the second Thursday, I'm in Newfield.
Oh, yeah. Think about
I'm sorry that
it.
I
I'm gonna
have
think this through.
other, I mean, you get my comments before the meetings
Yeah.
anyway, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we can play it by ear and see what the meetings look like, and you know, depending on how busy it is, maybe we'll need more comments from Glenn than usual, or you know, like you said, we can always, if there's nothing that's time sensitive, we always have the option of pushing.
Because I scheduled my vacation to not impact you guys at all.
Oh, no.
But you're making me impact you, even though I didn't want to.
I didn't do that at all. And I say
All right.
that without shame.
Mark, are we anticipating July 1st to bring business to us when the new law goes into effect for multi-unit housing? and
Oh my God,
commercial?
we've already seen,
I-
we've already been in.
Really?
We're seeing it way before July 1st.
Really?
Yeah, yes.
Because our ordinance took effect the day that the town clerk certified that a majority vote
Yeah.
accepted it.
Let me just say that meetings have already happened
Yeah.
with engineers,
And already have land.
that's plural, about very specific projects, so.
So should we be working on site plan regulations and?
Well, one of the big things we wanted to do with the with the
Yeah,
Plan New Hampshire thing was just that, but we're gonna have to.
my thought is that we do something as quickly as we can that's imperfect and get the most important things on paper, and then we can fix it later. You know, we
Well,
can.
I'll
improve it
look
later.
I'll look at some design standards from surrounding communities that
Okay.
have them. There aren't a lot of them.
I think
so-
we should just do that as
Yeah,
fast
there's
as we
no
can.
law
so we've got
against
something.
Copying other communities.
No, not at all. And we can, I mean, it's,
Information.
if they're in site plan review, they're simply
There's a-
one meeting. We just have to post them and have a meeting, and then we adopt them, so.
It's a
Okay.
public
Happen
hearing
in law.
process, right?
Uh,
A public hearing process?
Yep.
So we could, in theory, between now and the April meeting, we could have a draft of something. We could have a hearing later in April and adopt.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if we have the charrette or not, we could, you know, we'll have more time to build it out if we aren't happy with it. But I think it'd be good to have something on the books.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other business?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, microphone.
That's